an autoimmune disease. Does that make sense? Any questions about any of that so far? If you have a question, feel free to just kind of stop me, because I'll just keep rambling and talking quickly. So just go, wait, please explain that again, and I'll be happy to stop. Let me describe to you guys some of the toxins which long-term could cause an autoimmune disease. Some of these, even in short-term use for some people, could be the catalyst for an autoimmune disease. And in this group of people, I would doubt that most of you guys have these in your diet or in your life, but I'm going to bring them up anyway. Artificial sweeteners, and that doesn't just include aspartame. I would list Splenda or sucralose in there too. That's just my belief system, just from what I've read. I would not consider Splenda or sucralose to be a good alternative to aspartame. Xylitol and stevia would be great options, but sucralose, Splenda, aspartame, those artificial sweeteners, not good. Monosodium glutamate in all of its varied names. If you bought a can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup or Healthy Choice tortilla soup, you're ingesting monosodium glutamate. Any cheesy snacks have monosodium glutamate in them. Most ranch dressings that all of our children love to eat and they're served at school have monosodium glutamate in them. And the list goes on and on. It's very disconcerting. Even like the Healthy Choice frozen meals, those are all bad. Food dye is a very big concern. I went to look for a good dog treat. We have a very spoiled, rotten dog new to our family. None of the other dogs get dog treats. This new border collie gets dog treats. So I went looking in the grocery store for a healthy dog treat. Almost all of them have dye. My dog does not care what color the treat is. Why do they have dye in dog treats? I just totally don't understand that. Spider bite, scorpion bite, other bug bites could be the initial catalyst for an autoimmune disease. Heavy metals, and if you don't know whether or not you have heavy metals in your system, I would strongly recommend that you have a hair analysis done. David could talk to you about that. He's had one done, and he found out that he's got some issues with some heavy metals in his system, some of which he has no idea how they got there, but they're there. Those could be someone's underlying issue with their autoimmune disease. I would highly recommend doing a hair analysis. There are other things you can find out from a hair analysis. That's a major one. Find out if you do have an issue with heavy metals in your system. Food allergens. If you have a particular food allergen that you haven't solved or resolved, usually there's an underlying reason why you have a food allergy. You shouldn't be allergic to most normal foods, but if you do have a food allergy and it's very subtle and you don't really know that it's there, like if you have a very mild, yet like a mild gluten allergy, it doesn't cause major issues for you, but your body doesn't like gluten and you consume that on a regular basis, that could cause your immune system to get out of whack. I would recommend to most people who are concerned about an autoimmune disease that they either eliminate or decrease the common food allergens, those being wheat, corn, which is very hard to eliminate from your diet, the cereal honey bunches of oats. What would you think would be the major ingredient in honey bunches of oats? The major ingredient is corn. It should say honey bunches of corn. It's not honey bunches of oats. It's honey bunches of corn with some that look like little oats. It's very sad. Corn, soy, and dairy. You know, soy can be great, but soy is in so many things that anything in mass consumption is just not good for you. A little bit of soy, soy lecithin is a great thing for the health issues that can help with, but soy in every single product that you put in your mouth, that's not a good thing. Corn in every single product that you put in your mouth, that's not a good thing. Corn in and of itself is not bad. We as Americans just tend to overeat it. It's a great way to fatten a cow. It really shouldn't be that prevalent in our diet. Pathogens that could be the catalyst for the autoimmune disease. Viruses. There are thousands upon thousands of viruses. They haven't all been identified. We know some of the common ones, like the common cold virus, the flu virus. There are thousands of viruses. And you might have this little underlying virus that doesn't manifest itself in a runny nose, but you've got a virus in your system that caused your autoimmune disorder. You might want to try and solve that. Fungus, for example, Candida, or Candida if you want to pronounce it that way. Bacteria, especially the unusual ones like Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma functions differently than E. coli or strep. So Mycoplasma is often found to be an underlying cause in autoimmune diseases. And interestingly, mycoplasma and many viruses, let's say that you already have, like I'll use my friend Judy, let's say that soon after her scorpion encounter and her immune system being a little bit out of whack, she caught mycoplasma pneumonia, which is just, you know, it's kind of like walking pneumonia. That's usually the cause in younger people when they get like a pneumonia that doesn't put them in the hospital, but they're coughing, they're chronically just chronically coughing. That's usually mycoplasma. So if you've got that mycoplasma is going to confuse her immune system, send her further down into that spiral. And then if she's working too hard and not getting enough rest, all those things cause a spiral, and before you know it, she's got rheumatoid arthritis. Or she's diagnosed with fibromyalgia in her mid-30s because of all these sequence of events, and she drinks Diet Coke all day long. Judy, I'm going to stop at that. All right, so here's what happens in an autoimmune disease. I'm going to tell her when I see her on Wednesday, I want you to know you were the topic of my talk the other night. All right. The autoimmune process. Basically what happens with autoimmune disease, that your immune system is out of whack. To simplify that, I kind of a board that I usually tend to write on, so you're just going to have to let me talk with my hands. You have T1 and T2 fighters in your body. They're there, they're designed to go and attack like mycoplasma pneumonia. The way that the T1s and T2s work is that the T1s actually kill the invader. The T2s hold all the invaders at bay and keep them from replicating or reproducing until the T1s can get there and do their killing. What most pathogens use an enzyme to replicate or reproduce, and the T2s basically block that enzyme from working, and they block protein synthesis. So when your body has mycoplasma pneumonia in it, your T1s are not letting it reproduce by blocking that enzyme, and they're not letting protein synthesis occur, so it's not reproducing itself. And then the T1s arrive and they kill the mycoplasma pneumonia. That would be the normal way that things work. With the initial presentation of a large influx of an invader, like that large influx of that scorpion toxin, or a large influx of mycoplasma that causes you to have pneumonia, then your T1s are rapidly depleted. And unless your immune system is in good shape, your body doesn't replicate, your body doesn't make enough T1s as rapidly as it makes T2s. But all these T2s holding the mycoplasma there going, okay, don't move. T1s, where are you guys at? You need to come kill. And while that's going on, everything else that relies on enzymes and protein synthesis is also on hold. So your body is basically on hold. The T1s are over here because they're depleted, because you're too stressed or you have too many other toxins in your bodies, and they never arrive. The cavalry never arrives. So your body's enzyme and protein synthesis system is on hold, kind of permanently. So you've got all these T2s holding everything at bay, and the T1s never arrive. That's the problem, one of the problems in autoimmune disease. Here's your T2s and here's your T1s. So to get that straight, you need to get your T2s down and your T1s up. Most of the time in an autoimmune disease, like in rheumatoid arthritis, drugs are prescribed which lower both the T1s and the T2s. Well, that doesn't really solve the problem. Now you're just going to have the mycoplasma go crazy because you don't have the T2s. You didn't up the T1s, but you got rid of all the T2s. So that didn't solve anything. That just made the problem worse. And when you stop taking that drug, T2s come back and there's still not enough T1s to handle the problem. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, I think I handled all of that. All right, there's another issue there. While those T2s are holding everything at bay, there's no enzyme activity going on, or very limited enzyme activity in your body. And your body needs enzymes to do almost everything. But one of the major things that goes on when your enzymes are not working correctly in your entire system is that your liver function is depleted. Well, liver function is needed to clear the invaders, and liver function is needed to clear extra T2s. So it's kind of a big cycle thing. Your liver's not working right because the enzyme activity is on hold. So you're not clearing out the invaders, and you're also not clearing out the T2s. So again, you just have more and more of a problem. One of the big issues in autoimmune disease, a common symptom, is sleep disturbance. People do not get to stage 4 sleep. We talked about that last time. Autoimmune diseases disrupt stage 4 sleep. Stage 4 sleep is when the liver does most of its work. So the autoimmune disease is not letting the liver do its work because you're not sleeping enough, and then the liver's already depleted because of the enzyme issue. So we're going to come back and talk about helping your liver when we talk about how to solve these problems. I just wanted you guys to understand the liver's key to this whole process, but it doesn't get to do its work because an autoimmune disease doesn't let the person get to stage 4 sleep in most cases.